Hello, Afternators. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. I'm Charles. Welcome to the channel. As always, if you like what you see here, go ahead and leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe. And today we're going to be talking about a little bit more of a tougher subject because I know that this is going to break the heart of a lot of Afternators when the reviews start coming out for this film. Don't be discouraged, because I can go ahead and tell you right now, the critics are gonna hate this film. I don't think that very many critics are actually gonna give this thing a pass. I don't think that they're actually gonna, be okay with this film. They're gonna attack it. So if you start seeing, negative reviews about this film from critics, don't don't immediately start running, to jump off a cliff. Don't immediately start, going off the deep end and, saying like, oh my God, this film is so terrible. Oh my God, what did they do to my precious after? Oh my God, how did, oh God, they messed this film up. Don't immediately listen to the critics. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and dismiss all the critics, all right? Because there are some legitimate, if a critic has legitimate issues with the film, then that's okay. I'm not going to dismiss anybody's opinion here. But the one thing that I do not want to see, which I know is already coming, is that some critics have this over tendency to overreact to films and pretty much act like they're the worst they're the worst films in the world. Just look at the 50 Shades reviews. That basically by the end of that trilogy, some critics could not even hide their disdain for the films, to the point that one reviewer that I do watch and I do really enjoy, even he kind of, fell prey to literally like every 5 seconds, like after he says something, just like, blowing the streamers, doing the noisemakers, basically, celebrating the end of the franchise. So he could not even hide his disdain for the film. That's what I don't want to see with After. That's where you should have a little bit of a pause with the critic. If they just I just don't want to see. I just don't want to see the reviews that are dripping with disdain. Those are the ones that I don't trust. The ones that are just dripping with venom, where you got to look at them and go, okay, what's going on with you right now that you're taking it out on this movie? What's going on with you that you cannot just tap out and admit, hey, this film is not for me? Because we are long past the idea. Because if a critic hates a film, if they really venomous hate a film, they're not going to even tap out and admit, oh, this film is not for me. Oh, I'm not the demographic for this. Because I remember that's one of the things I loved about the Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2 reviews, is that so many critics were willing to tap out and say, you know what, this film's not for me. If you're on this Twilight hype train, go see it. You're going to love it, but, it's not for me. You know what I'm going to say. Stuff like that, basically. But we are long past that. It's just like no critics are willing to admit that anymore. That's one of the reasons why I may or may not be reviewing a film coming out this weekend. Just because it would just be me just saying over and over and over again, hey, this film is not for me. It's not this, it's not that. I'm just not the ideal viewer for this film. And, of course, I'm going to hate it. I'm talking about a completely different film, by the way. I'm not talking about After. I think that the critics are going to see this as the new punching bag. I think the critics are going to see After as the new 50 Shades, that easy punching bag where not only do they treat the film as a punching bag, but they treat the fans as a punching bag. Because that's one of the main things I saw about 50 Shades, is that the critics went after it so hard that there was like such a disrespect toward the franchise, and sometimes for some very good reasons. But you can hate a film, but the moment that you start going after and personally attacking the fans and start, just like these disrespectful, near offensive attacks against the fans, that's where you have now officially stepped over the line. And I fear that that's exactly what's going to happen with After, is that this franchise, After, if they are lucky enough to get the entire franchise, they're lucky to continue these books, this is going to become the new 50 Shades. This is going to become the one where it's pretty much treated as a punching bag, where the fans are treated as punching bags, where it's okay to sit here, where nobody's going to call you out for pretty much punching a 50 Shades fan, essentially, for verbally or, you know, writtenly punching a 50 Shades fan, and almost like 50 Shades fans sort of have to like go into hiding and not really able to like say out loud, hey, I'm a fan of this series, hey, I'm a fan of these books, I'm a fan of these movies. You know, they pretty much have to say, you know, yeah, I hated it, and I just don't want to see that happen to another franchise, because when you look at the interviews for this film, when you look at like the behind the scenes photos, when you look at everything involved with after, and I'm not going to say that, you know, this isn't true for 50 Shades, but you can see how much hard work they put into this film. You can see how much they poured their heart and souls into this film. You can see that, unlike, and I know like some people might kill me for this, but unlike Jamie Dornan, you can see that Hero Finds Tiffin actually cares about this film. You can see that he's actually still 100% into this. You can see that he likes being there with the fans. He loves being there with the fans. You can see that on his face. You can hear that in his voice. And I mean, again, I am not going to sit here and pretend, you know, like, oh, everybody needs to love this film. It needs to be like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. But I'm just trying to implore with the critics, implore with the audience, if you hate this film, at least be willing to tap out and admit, hey, I'm not the demographic for this, and also give legitimate reasons as to why you hate this film. Don't just vitriolic go against it. Don't just drip venom. Don't just drip disdain from your review. Actually give reasons why you hate it, and actually legitimate reasons, and just don't overdo it. Because that's what I can see coming from about 50 million miles away, is that critics, and I think that, you know, sometimes people who have never seen the film are just going to see, you know, this film as like the punching bag, as like the easy target. If you want to make, you know, I mean, if you want to make like an easy, you know, applause line, just go after. It's the same way with 50 Shades. And I'm not going to, I mean, I have my problems with the 50 Shades franchise. I do. But I also can see that I would never actually, you know, punch a 50 Shades, verbally punch a 50 Shades fan, or say like, oh, you like this? Then there must be something wrong with you. Then you must be a virgin. Then you must be this or that or this or that. So just the whole point of this is to basically say to the fans out there, just take a breath. If the critics start hating it, if you start seeing review after review after review after review from critics, you know, just calling it the worst movie ever, Hero and Josephine Langford have like no chemistry, it's pretty much the follow-up to 50 Shades, it's the successor to 50 Shades, like, oh, this is like the worst piece of shit ever created, just take a breath and still go see the film. Make up your own mind. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to any other critic out there. I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna like it. I'm sure I'm gonna be. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'm sure I'm gonna like it. I mean, it would take a lot for me not to like this movie. Like I said in my video talking about the rating description, the only thing that will get me to hate this film is if it looks like that there are chunks missing from it. Is that if the editing is so poorly, because like there is like this big thing, and I did kind of, you know, shoot this down a little bit, but that one of the producers pretty much came out and said like, oh, the US versus international are getting like two different films. So yeah, I mean, if I'm sitting there watching the film and it feels like this piss poor editing job where you can tell that there are minutes, chunks missing from this film, where, you know, it's nigh unwatchable, where it kind of resembles like some of the horror stories that I hear about, you know, how Bohemian Rhapsody is edited in China, how The Wolf of Wall Street was edited overseas, or how, you know, like even like that first 50 Shades movie was edited overseas. If it looks that bad, then of course I'm going to hate it. Then of course I'm not going to sit here and, you know, pretend like it's the greatest movie ever. If I sit there and just say like, oh my god, this is just piss poorly edited, like, oh, I can tell that you guys, you know, took chunks out of this, that there are, you know, just scenes missing from this, then yeah, of course I'm going to go after it. But I won't go after it too hard. I mean, I'll just let you guys know, hey, you know, the version in the US is piss poorly edited. That yes, you can tell that that we got the edited version. You can tell that we, you know, got the lesser version. So yeah, jump down to the comment section below. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to go ahead and click that like button. Remember to subscribe. I'll see you later. After Naders. Take care, y'all.